What is going on, Niner fans? We had a jam-packed day, I guess, in terms of news. I guess because it's the off season, we don't really hear a lot of stuff. So then when we get some updates, we're like, oh my god, we're salivating. So got a special guest today, my man Ryan from No Border Sports. Tell him about you, Ryan.
I got channel No Border Sports, where me and my partner Waruna, we do sports. Waruna's been a little removed lately. He's got his own things going on, but I still try and hold it down. I also got a shot with or a show with some other people might know. Aaron from 49ers First Takes, Bashar from 49er Minded, and Beto from 49ers or Niners Sickness Podcast. Been around the horn. I got a show with Mariah. Oh man, with names today. Got a show with Mariah. So find me around. Do
You're all over the
things.
place, man. All over the place. I love to hear it.
I
I'm gonna hit this
try to be.
intro, and we're gonna talk about all this great news that we have today, and then maybe look towards next week because I think next week's obviously free agency. You know, it's gonna be crazy as it always is. But we'll get to it in just a second here. Let me drop this intro, which I need to upgrade, by the way. All right. I don't know if you saw it on your end, but I saw it on my end. I don't know if you guys
I
saw it. I don't know. Was it not working?
maybe it
Technical
was like
difficulty.
halfway through, all of a sudden it hit.
Okay. A little laggy there, but hey, it's all good. Technical difficulty Thursday. We'll call it that. How are we doing? So I'm gonna get right into it. So the first big news of the day, I feel not the first big news, but I think the biggest news of the day was the 49ers extended Colton McKivitz, the offensive lineman. He was a fifth round pick a couple years back. They got him the year they traded Matt Breida. So they traded Breida for a fifth round pick, and they right after that they went and got this guy Colton McKivitz, and he's been on the team as a depth piece. You know, he's helped out when players have been hurt here and there. But to me, that's pretty significant because what we've been talking about over the last couple of days is Mike McGlinchey pretty much, writings on the wall. He said his goodbyes yesterday on KNBR. He was talking about how it's been a great time with the Niners. If this is it, I want to say thank you to everybody. And he's probably going to get paid a lot of money, more than the 49ers probably want to pay a guy like that. And it seems to me that Colton McKivitz might be the right tackle of the future. They've done this with players like Jake Brendel. He took over, Mac last year, who retired, and then they had a couple other times over the last few years where they, replaced Laken Tomlinson with Aaron Banks, and now it looks like they're going to have this guy that they've had on their team and give him his opportunity to start. So, what do you think? What do you think about Colton McKivitz? Do you think he's the answer? Do you think they still might go after somebody else? I don't know. What's your take on it?
Kind of scares me that their backup plan for right tackle is just Colt McKivitz. Like, um, I don't know. Seems pretty bland. He's, if you know what this is, that's smoked paprika. Okay, that's the good stuff. Colt McKivitz ain't no smoked paprika. He's bland. You know what I mean? That's the backup. We're in trouble, I think. And unless he proves me wrong, but I've never seen Colt McKivitz who didn't look like he was scared. You know what I mean? Like he never looked like anytime he was playing, like he deserved to be there. And I've seen it with other, like what's his name, who covers the left tackle, who covers the backup left tackle.
Jalen Moore.
Yes. Moore looks like more confident of being in there. You know what I mean? And you're extending this guy, like confidence means something. Well, I don't know. Brunskill doesn't know confident either. Him and Colt McKivitz kind of got this like, oh crap, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Look to them, and like that, I don't have confidence in people like that. You know what I mean? I'd rather have somebody out there totally confident, not knowing what the hell they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me,
Yeah.
I feel like, oh yeah, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is if this is the plan. Um, I think we're in for it.
Yeah, it is interesting to know if this is their guy, because a lot of people have been saying this. I listened to Mayoko and a couple other people, the insiders, and they're saying that 49ers are probably going to replace McGlinchey with McKivitz. And I get it. This is their guy. It's a lot cheaper, and the 49ers do have to prioritize the cap space, and this is what they do. They get these players, they keep them around, they develop them, and then they let them be the starter. And then once they kind of step up and be good, and they're like, maybe we can get rid of them because we got another young guy. That's what they do. It's a cycle. I mean, I don't know if McKivitz can be that starter, but it is a very cost-effective move if this is the route they're going. Because McGlinchey is probably going to get you a $15 million a year contract annually. But McKivitz, 2-year extension, it's going to run him through 2024, and he's a restricted free agent. So it's about $2.5 million. That's a big difference, $2 million compared to 15. But sometimes just going the cheap route, it just is just that. You're taking the cheap route. So I hope they don't get spurned in this. And I really hope that McKivitz can
You
be a
pay
solid guy.
for
But
what you get.
I need them to draft a player.
They've been doing nothing but drafting guard/center, and you think they would have put some emphasis on it. How many guards do we have just sitting on the team? Oh my God, Jason Poe, you know what I mean? Zakelj. There's what, 2 others we probably like. Come on, guys. And now we got Moore and McKivitz. That's the 2 tackles. I don't know.
It's scary. It is scary because I don't know if I
Supposedly we
believe
have.
McKivitz.
You got Fisher, right? Last name Fisher, the offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be so great. Where's our diamond in the roughs on the offensive line?
Well, here it is.
Mean?
If Colton McKivitz turns into a starter, quality starter, then I guess he did a job. And I think that's what they're telling us.
Zirconian. He's a cubic zirconian.
He probably is. But I mean, it's tough. They put themselves in this position because that shows you where they value certain positions. They value obviously Bosa, the edge. They value that D line. They went and got a guy like Debo because Shanahan wanted him for that offense, and Kittle. That's their physical players on offense. They went and got Trent Williams. So there's specific players. You got CMC because they run the ball a lot.
I think that's the big problem.
But they have these expensive guys, and then you can't pay everybody.
Trent Williams. It's the Trent Williams. So what I see is Trent Williams was here to try and, get him over the edge. You know what I mean? It was going to be that one thing to solidify the rest of the line. We're going to be good, and then we're going to get us to the Super Bowl that one next time. And then we couldn't. And then we couldn't keep the line together. And now you still got to pay Trent. And you got to pay Trent so much that you can't really pay anybody else on that line without handicapping other position groups. You know what I mean? Because he's taken up so much % of the cap.
Yeah.
And, I love Trent, but once you said his name, I was like, oh, that's probably the problem. You know what I mean? Because if we had not more people less talented than Trent, you know what I mean? But more talented than McGlinchey or Kivitz, you know what I mean? Then we'd be in a good situation,
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because I feel like there's going to be a weak link on every part of your team. But I think, obviously, we want every part of this O-line to not be weak. I think we just don't want a weak link because you see how good Trent is. But not everybody can beat Trent Williams. So it's like, okay, you got Trent Williams. Aaron Banks looked great last year in his second year.
You can have a weak link on your offensive line. It just normally it has to be at guard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd rather have a weak link at guard than right tackle.
Because the center can help him out.
Correct.
And you can always have a running back come in and help too.
Yeah. Well, with Shanahan's system, he gets Kittle and Juice, and they kind of help out in the blocking. They're like glorified linemen on this team. So the 49ers are the one team where they have, I guess, a little bit leeway because they can play some of their skill players in those positions. But I mean, the big thing is we still weren't good enough at right tackle. And again, okay, you had McGlinchey, who was a good run blocker, but his pass protection skills were very suspect. They were, inconsistent. So now they're going to replace him with Colton McKivitz. Will he be a better pass protector? That's all I really care. If he can't run block, I agree with what you're saying. You got the center who can stunt, and then you got guys like Kittle and Juice. They can help in the run block. If this guy, Colton McKivitz, can stand up and hold his block to pass protect, then that's all we really need, because that's an upgrade over what we've had over the last several years. So I don't know. I'm going to hold out faith, but I'm not holding my breath on Colton McKivitz.
Yeah. Obviously they have made certain decisions thinking that he was going to be the guy. So they better be right. You know what I mean? Like, they're the pros. They get paid to make decisions like this. They better made the right one. And it's only going to be evident next year when the season starts. Or at least a couple games in the season, because team starts out slow, especially the offensive line.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue. We can't start slow. We got to make sure we block for whoever the hell's our quarterback. I mean, we still don't even know that situation, but we need to solidify the O-line before we even worry about quarterback, because whoever's back there, we got to make sure we can protect them. My man Jason says we gotta have a center that can run block. So yeah, that's the issue. Is okay, maybe you give up a little bit of run blocking at the right tackle spot, and you get a guy that can block, like you said, in the center position. I like Jake Brendel. I hope they bring him back. If not, you do have some players. You mentioned Jason Poe, Nick Sikeld. Maybe those two guys can be brought up and developed. So we'll see.
Jason Poe's so quick, he could get onto a safety. Like, you could put other people onto the linebacker. Jason Poe could get onto a safety, and that would be sick and nasty. I'm just saying.
I like Poe. That's the guy that I want. That's the guy that I want to, like, hopefully can step up and take that next leap. But I don't know if he'll be a starter year 2 as an undrafted guy. I think eventually he's the guy that's going to be there and be an important player. But you know how Kyle is with these young guys. They really have this specific, developmental program, and they go through their P's and Q's. And if there's an injury and Poe's needed to be there, maybe he gets that call and he takes his opportunity. But I think the guy, Nick Zakel, may be ahead of him based on, they draft him a little higher. But again, it goes down to training camp. But we do have some young guys in the hole that maybe we can place. I just think the biggest issue right now on that line is right tackle. Everything else I'm fine with, because Burford was great guard, and again, Aaron Banks was phenomenal last year. And obviously, like you said, we got Trent Williams. So it really comes down to this right tackle spot. And McKivitz, man, he's got a lot to prove this year.
I want to say something real quick. I just think Poe is naturally a force to be reckoned with.
Okay.
If you remember the equation for force equals mass times acceleration. That's why he's nasty.
Yeah.
He's short, he's squatty, and he's quick. You know what I mean? And so anytime you get him with a couple steps on him, I mean, he's like that battering ram during the medieval times when you need to knock down the wooden door around the stone castle. Yeah, he's that battering ram. Like, why aren't we using him as a weapon? He can help out. I don't know. Some people think he's a little small because he's short, but I don't have any issues with that. He's gonna have better leverage.
Peter Parker says Poe is so short that worries me, but to me that's a strength in my eyes, because he's got the leverage, I believe. And you're right, he's like a bowling ball. I think this kid is going to be something special. I know he's short in stature, but this guy, he seems like he has it. I mean, he's so athletic. The guy's quick on his feet. And in Kyle Shanahan's system, you have to be quick. You have to have that ability to kind of run and cut as a lineman. You got to be able to run, because that zone scheme, you got to be super quick on your feet. So I'm excited though I'm excited about the development of these players, because I think we do have some good young players. I know people get hung up on names and they don't maybe just know these guys, but I do have a lot of optimism for guys like Zakel and Poe. But I don't know, I'm not as optimistic as the tackle options, Jalen Moore and Colton McKivitz, because I just haven't seen much out of maybe they'll impress me.
I would like to see the Niners go double tackle in this draft. I am totally a fan of going in the draft 2 times, maybe even 3 times if you need a position. For the reason
Woo.
being is if I need an answer this year / next year, I want to make sure I shoot as many shots as I can so I get as many guys that I think are a possibility in my camp. And I get my
Okay.
hands on them first,
Okay.
and then I could figure out what I got. And then if I got 2 winners, hey, wing, winner chicken dinner. If
Let's
I
go.
if I win on one, I'm still good. You know what I mean? Half these guys aren't going to make it anyways. I've already hit my average in the same season. I'm not going back next year. Well, we had an issue last year. Maybe we need to pick up higher in the draft. No, I can get 2 guys later in the draft, figure out which one's got the best potential, cut the other one, and then put the other one on the practice squad / backup throughout the whole season. Bang.
Okay. So you want that depth at that spot. They got 11 picks. So let's get into the draft now. So today, as we know, we said, there's a lot of news out there. So I'll get your take on this. So, of course, the 49ers were awarded 7 comp picks. They have a total of 11 draft picks this year. I think the comp picks we all knew, all the minority coaches and executives we've lost and the players, it netted a total of 7 extra draft picks. So we have a total of 11. You can assume that they're going to find, like you said, some depth, some quality players at each position that they can stack on this team, develop, put them on the practice squad in the upcoming draft. So that kind of goes with what your strategy is. And that's what the 49ers do. They lose players every year. They draft a lot of late-end talent that become starters. And here we go, 11 draft picks. What do you think about this whole, the draft coming up? I know you just said, maybe you stack up multiple positions at the same position, and then you can, keep them on your roster somewhere and develop them. So what say you about all that?
Yeah. First thing, like, I thought it was funny, and the news came out today. Oh, we got all these picks, but like I was telling you before the show, like I've been drafting with these picks for a couple of weeks now, and the mock simulators, like it's nothing new to me. No, I think it's cool. I think it's great. I think that's the reason why we were able to get CMC, and it wasn't such a big move because it was like, yeah, we gave up all this, but we know we're getting all this. So in return, we still have a lot of picks in the draft, and if the scouting team does their job well, we should have a couple of, no matter what, we have a couple of good guys coming out of this draft.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with what you said. And the great thing is, because going back to the CMC trade, not everybody, a lot of media analysts were ripping the 49ers. I remember ESPN graded it a C, right? Oh, 49ers gave up too much. The 49ers really didn't give up anything. If you look at it now, they got back most of those draft picks they gave up. They got 7 draft picks now. They essentially gave up a second-round pick for CMC. And look what he did to this team. They didn't lose a game since he started until the NFC Championship game. The offense was unbelievable. So 49ers got the last laugh, and that's what they do. Now they have a lot more picks. So let's say they need to make a trade next year. You got all these damn draft picks that you can do. So maybe next year midseason comes, they're like, oh, we really need this guy. Next year, if everything goes the way it should, they'll have a first-round pick. In 2024, they'll have a first-round pick in 2025. So they're going to have their first-round picks, and then they could take a first-round pick and maybe one of these other picks that they're going to get every year and move and trade. So they're smart. They know what they're doing. They actually draft better in the late end of the draft than they do in the top end of the draft. So I'm happy they got all these late picks, because sometimes I worry when they have a first-round pick. Other than Nick Bosa, really, and Brandon Ayuk, you can't really tell me that all their first-round picks have panned out with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. And even before John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan got there, they've never been consistent with first-round picks all the time. Not always.
Yeah, no, that's why, like, I'm more comfortable with them picking third-round picks, and I wouldn't mind them moving back off of one of those third-round picks to maybe get some more draft capital.
Yeah.
To then, or moving up, one or the other, because there's some things you could do there. You're talking about they got 99, 101, and 102. So if you were to, shop 102 around or 101 around, you know what I mean? You got different options. There's only one pick in between those 3 there. So you can still get almost all the guys you got, I just feel it.
No,
The more
100%. I
moves they
think,
make, the better off we are. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. No. And I agree because the 49ers now with 11 picks, I mean, you can't assume that they're going to take all 11 picks and keep them on the. I mean, there's just you just can't see all 11 picks make this final roster. You're gonna have to cut some players and hope they clear the waivers and this and that. So I'm sure they'll trade up around the draft, trade up, trade down. Like if there's a guy they really want, they'll take a couple of their picks and move them up and move up the draft. That's exactly what I see they're gonna do. And maybe they start with 11, they end up with 7. So that's just John Lynch, man. He loves to wheel and deal, and it's going to be a fun draft. It's going to be a very active draft for the 49ers. It's going to be an intense. And then if they draft all 11 picks, it's going to be a lot of content. So either way, it's going to be a very active night. And, again, we have a lot of positions that we could fill, and a lot of that's going to be dictated towards free agency. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for this draft. But before we even get there, it's free agency season, which starts pretty much next week. And one guy that we have to talk about is Gipson. So people in the comments is what's going on with Gipson. So today there was some news from Matt Barrows that basically says he's not retiring. That was something we all thought he might retire. And he's going to test the free agency market. You think the Niners bring back Gipson? Do you want him back?
I don't know. There's
Oh.
so many things going on right now. We have no idea. Like, what's the price? What's our cap? What's the space we got? You know what I mean? What up, Beto? Shout out Beto for Niners sickness.
Shout out to everybody in the chat today. We had a lot of people. We had Aaron from Niners First Takes. We got my man Beto from Niners Sickness. Yep. A lot of people in chat. Shout out to everybody in there today.
Nathan Z, I see you. Yeah, Christy Marie. It just what was the question again?
So Gipson, I said, do you think he's coming back? You
yes.
said you're not sure.
The price. It's the price. We don't know. We haven't got the restructures gone yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't have we got that completed yet? No. So I don't know what the room is. Are we going to miss out because we haven't made our moves yet? I mean, they should be dropping now, I would think. They've got less than a week. You know what I mean? Like, they should have already gotten the restructures done and out, and they should be talking with people already.
I'm sure they got some things.
Tampering starts on Monday, right?
Yeah, so tampering starts Monday. I'm pretty sure they got things set, or they're finalizing things, and we're going to get some news, I feel like, in the next couple of days. I really feel like we're sitting on a big news dump coming up, and then we'll know. But you're right. I think obviously the cap space is going to have to really play a part in that. We don't know what Tashawn's going to want. He had a big year last year. I mean, that guy was underrated. He's 32. Nobody expected him to have the year he did, and it's like, he just really upped his value playing for the 49ers. He was on a $1 million contract last year, and definitely not bringing him back for $1 million, man. But I think he's going to have to
definitely
at least get paid $2-3 million to make it worth his while, because he could have retired. Obviously, it made it to where he's like, I can maybe get a little bit nice of a contract because they played so good. So it's got to be worth his while since he's not going to retire. So I don't know. I definitely think that we have a very good chance of bringing him back. John Lynch mentioned it last week. They want to bring him back. Matt Barrows did say that the 49ers are very interested in bringing him back. So we'll see.
I think he's more probable that he comes over than Jesse Bates. Just for the fact of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just on the fact of money. Because I think if you pick up Jesse Bates, I mean, so that's lights out. But I think that's the only splash move they make in free agency whatsoever. I think that's that and Sutton Bosa, that's the only thing they could do. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
If you blow all your money on Jesse Bates, I don't know what else you can sign, because it's just that's a guy that probably going to get paid $17-18 million. There's just no way that we're signing Jesse Bates. I love the guy, but again, if we're looking into this whole situation, and I've said this many times, okay, if we were going to go spend all that money on a safety, you still got an issue with your D-line. And I think the 49ers, they build their team through the trenches, especially that D-line. You're not going to be able to get the guys you want. So I think if you're going to make a splash move, if they have money to make a splash move, go get a big-time edge rusher. Go get a big D-lineman. I think we talked about this before. Go get somebody like that can have a massive impact. Not saying the best Bates wouldn't, but I think more impact in the edge rusher. That's going to take pressure off the secondary, whoever's back there. And then you can go bring back Gipson for a 1-year deal. Use one of those 1 million draft picks you have and draft a safety. So I just think it's smarter that way.
Also, if you're talking about $18 million, that's like bringing Jimmy Ward and Deshaun Gipson back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Now you're talking.
You could have both of them. You could have both of them. You know what I mean? So for the price of Jesse Bates. So it's all how things fall. You know what I mean? Like right now we're sitting here and we have no ideas essentially is what people's price tags are. Because Gipson, what is Gibson's price tag right now? He was on a $1 million contract, but yet he put up one of the best performances of a safety last year. So where's his range? You know what I mean? And he's also 30 something going on his way out. You know what I mean? So it's weird. Does he take a discount and go for like a 2-year contract? You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, pay me for 2 years and I'll give you a discount. What's the deal?
I don't know if he wants. I mean, if I'm him, I mean, it depends on what he's looking for. If he's looking for a championship, if he's looking for, a place to just retire and go cash out or whatever. I mean, if I'm him, he just, like you said, he's coming off a big year, man. He had a lot of interceptions. He was a ball hog. He showed that he could still be a very capable player in this league. I know he's 32, but he was a damn good safety at 32 years old. So he's definitely in line for a big upgrade in money. I mean, it's not going to be like $5 to $10 million, but I think he could get $3 to $5 million, somewhere around that range, if he comes back this year and he plays what he showed. If he plays up to the potential of what he showed last year, and especially if he comes back to the Niners, because he knows the system, and now he knows if he could play on the other opposite of Talanoa Hufanga. Those two guys were so good together. It was a good tandem. So I think you have to take that into consideration, because maybe playing on the Niners maximizes his potential. Maybe he doesn't play as good on another team, but because he had such a good year, maybe these other teams are like, oh, maybe he can come over here and be this leader and get us a lot of picks. So it depends. I think he's looking for maybe $3 million in the market. I mean, yeah, it does depend. But I like what you said with the Jesse Bates thing. If you're going to pay him 18, and if you don't bring him back, you can actually bring back Jimmy Ward and Gipson together for the price of Bates. And those two guys know the team. We love them. They're veterans. And it would be great. Every Niner fan would be happy if they did that. To bring those two guys. I don't know. A lot of people say they don't think the Niners are going to make a big splash. What do you think?
That could also be true. They might try and just keep everybody together, and they might make like incremental changes on the defensive line, in like up things here and there. Like get some guys, like I've talked about, like David Amimata and Shy Tuttle. Talk about them last time we were on together. But those guys are they're decent, they consistent, and they're cheap. You know what I mean? So like you can upgrade some of those positions a little bit and have more depth and more consistency. I mean, that could be almost as important as a bookend. You know what I mean? If you got some tackles that can actually like command a double team and or get sacks, you know what I mean? Be aggressive in that on the trenches there. That might be all you need, because you might not need to worry about that other end. You know what I mean? If the two tackles can actually cause enough ruckus to where Bosa is one of the problems on that side of the line to where he can get through,
Yeah. Yeah, there's different ways to look at that whole situation, the D-line. There's a couple ways to skin a cat in that situation. So, I mean, you can get two amazing ends that just crash in, or like you said, you stack that interior, and if they're creating too much problem, Bosa's going to walk home free. So it really depends on their theory.
So what is Drake Jackson doing? That's where's his Instagram? I want to know. I want to know what he's doing right now.
So why is he not, I've been following up with Drake. I follow up with all the players. I talk to him. I message him. I see their stories. Drake has been training. I've seen him post some stuff on his stories that he's at this facility. He's been there like the last 2 weeks, but he also took some vacation. It is a long season. He took some vacation.
I get that.
But He has been training a lot. He just, I see every day. He's like, I saw the other day he posted daily deposits. He's at the 49ers facility. He's been training. He looks like he's in good shape. But the same thing is, the thing is with Kyle, what he said last year is he needs to strengthen up. He needs to bulk up. He needs to make sure he gets his endurance up because last year, Kyle Shanahan straight up says he can't last the season. And 11 games in the college is a lot different than 17-game regular season. So that's Kyle Shanahan basically saying, get stronger, my boy. And I think he heard the message because I do see him on his stories working out and this and that. So that's a guy that we all hope can take that second-year leap, man, because we're counting on him. He was their first pick they picked last year. He has a lot of potential, but can he harness it? And I hope he can. I like Drake, but he does need to come into camp this year and blow off the doors.
Yeah. First, I want to say shout out to Randy Daytona, but why didn't he hide himself in Nick Bosa's luggage? That's what I would have done. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out everything that you do, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get the side scissors down. Like, how important is the side scissor is. The biggest thing about it is getting your hips aligned with your hand movement at the same time. And that's what makes it so deadly and fast with Nick Bosa. And if Drake Jackson could figure that out, he'll be nasty too, because he's got so much bend and so much quickness.
Yeah, he could be nasty if he just, like you said, figures out the technique. I agree, man. If I'm Drake Jackson, I'm calling up Nick. I'm DMing him. I'm texting him. I'm picking his brain all off season. I hope he is. I don't know, man. Go in his luggage. I don't know if Nick would appreciate that, but I definitely want to see Nick really get in there. And he's a captain. He's a defensive player of the year. I want to see him really take that captain, serious this year and really get the most help get the most out of these guys. Because if I'm Drake Jackson, I'm trying to learn everything that Bosa's doing and then add my own, athleticism to it. Because you're right, the bend this guy has, it's like Alden Smith-esque. It really is, but he just has to harness everything together and get in shape. But God, man, if he really hits his potential, you got a stud on the other side of Bosa.
It would be nasty.
Yeah,
just saying. And I think if he learned everything that Bosa did from his workout regimen to how he ate to all that, I think it would make him a better football player, because you see what it does for Nick Bosa. That man is a beast.
He is a monster. And one thing you just said is not just how he trains, because we know he's so good. The guy's a specimen. He's got muscles on his muscles, a six-pack on his six-pack. He's got like every freaking muscle defined, and it's amazing. We know he trains, but it's his discipline and his diet, man. He is just so clean. Like, he doesn't put anything junky in his body. I'm not saying that any of the other players do, but just you can see. And Nick Bosa is just so clean with everything he does. And I agree with Drake. He needs to follow everything that Nick Bosa is doing, not just the training, but everything else that goes involved with it. Keeping the theme on Nick Bosa, Niner sickness, my man Beto, he just dropped a question. This is a lot of people on Twitter that's, dropping this little question around. Let's have a little fun with this. So he says, I'm going to ask you, would you trade Bosa and Lance and a first-round pick in 2024 for Lamar Jackson? What say you?
What say me? I don't think we can do it. The reason being is, so let's say we give all that to the Ravens, right? And they say, yes, we'll send Lamar Jackson over. They have to restructure his contract in order to do it, right?
Yeah.
He wants guaranteed money. He wants guaranteed money upwards of, let's say 180 to 200 million, if not 230 million, right? So once you trade somebody, all that comes due. So you're talking about whatever the signing bonus is, which would be the guaranteed money, right, would then come due. And how is the Ravens going to be able to take a cap hit of $180 million and still keep their team rostered this year? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
and
there's a lot of logistics
if
that
you go
people aren't. Yeah.
If you go the other route, put up the two, you trade Bosa to get the 2 firsts, and then you put an offer to Lamar Jackson, let's say you do $200 million guaranteed, they only have to hit. So
That's a lot of money.
they can let somebody else set his worth in market and like for us, screw up our team trying to make that play. And then they can just go, no, we'll just pay him that.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a no-go. Lamar Jackson is not coming to the San Francisco 49ers because I don't see John Lynch taking the risk to trade away Bosa for no guarantee in getting Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
because
I love
we can't
Lamar.
keep Lamar and Bosa on the same team.
No, there's no way you keep both of those guys. Because Nick
Bosa's like, I don't think he could take a deal low enough. I don't think the NFLPA would allow him to sign a contract low enough to keep them both on the same team under that. Well, look, if the Ravens took all that dead money, all that cap hit, I guess you could keep Lamar and Bosa on the same team because Lamar would already been paid.
I guess that's one way, but there's no way
that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Bosa would have to take such a low contract to make it happen. And obviously he even said, he goes, I don't want the highest paid, but he deserves his money. He's the defensive player of the year. And I love Lamar. Well, I mean, I'd go crazy if he was on the team, but not if you trade away.
Step in and stop it.
They probably would. And I love Lamar. I would love to have him on his team, but not if we lose Bosa, because, okay, you trade away your best player on defense, and that's crazy to me. You're at a massive loss on the defensive side. So to me, it's pointless. So, okay, we're sitting here, we're looking to get a franchise quarterback because we don't have a franchise quarterback. Everybody's injured, this and that. But you trade away your franchise defensive player, so you're in the same hole. You can't win games on your defense. I mean, we have still good players, but it's just a wash to me. You're getting rid of one of your best players to go get another great player, but now your defense is going to be weak. So I wouldn't do it, man. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get rid of Bosa. No way.
Shout out to, what's his name? Lenz from, I can't remember the podcast, but he was on with Ted Talks Ball, Ted H from Twitter, earlier talking about, and that's where I learned all that information. So don't think like before today I knew all that.
Shout out. There you go. Shout out to Lens, man. He's got the clear lens vision. I like it. So a couple other things, obviously, we talked about Lamar. I mean, real quick, do you even want Lamar on this team? Like, do you think that he would solve the answers for the 49ers if it's possible? Let's throw up. I'm going to throw a hypothetical at you. It's April. 2 first-round picks are given from the 49ers.
I would hate to see. I wonder if my connection's going. I would hate to see go. I would hate to, but if you could have Lamar Jackson on this team, I mean, I think it would be crazy. Him with CMC and George Kittle and Debo. I mean, that's just nasty. That's such an offense I don't think anybody wants to deal with. That's the offense we thought Trey Lance was going to be, but maybe without the cannon in the arm.
Yeah. It'd be crazy, man. Crazy to see that offense. God, man. I just think about just CMC, Debo, and Lamar in the backfield together. Oh, God, man. Just run to the left behind. I don't care if Colton McKivitz is our right tackle because we are only going to the left side, and we're going to run behind Trent, and it's going to be scary. Holy shit, man. And then you got Kittle leaking over, wide open in the middle. Crazy.
The RPOs, it's just nasty.
Crazy. So last thing I want to talk about here, tomorrow's a big day. Do you know that? Tomorrow's a big day. Do you know what tomorrow is?
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, it is D-Day.
It is. Do you know what D-Day is, Niner Faithful? Tell him.
When the doctor storms the beaches of Brock Purdy's arm.
We are going to get cut day. This is the surgery that we've all been waiting for. We've all been waiting for since Brock Purdy news broke. Surgery for Brock Purdy. This is a huge day tomorrow. We are going to figure out a lot tomorrow if they give us the details of what happened with the surgery. So it's a big day. I just hope Brock has a successful surgery and everything goes well. But this is a monumental day tomorrow. So we're gonna really figure out what the hell is gonna happen. Because if Brock's gonna be gone for a long time, they're gonna have to really figure out this backup quarterback situation. It's gonna get nitty gritty. So I'm really hoping it's the 6 month return. But I mean, you just never know, man. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm nervous. I'm nervous, man. I don't know. Prayers up for Brock.
I have a feeling at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, we're gonna get a vague tweet or something about his surgery being done, and some real vague thing about and we can't wait for him to be back to the team, and then like that's it. And then Saturday, I think that's what's going to come out, and they're going to explain, and either that, or it's really bad. And someone explained to me like they try to bury things on Friday in the news cycle because so much is going on, and people are trying to get done with their work week and whatnot. So if it's really bad, like somebody was saying that they moved the day to this and that to bury it, but like if they had bad news, why would they wait till Saturday when they could just put it out on Friday and it could, soften the blow a little bit? But I don't know how you hide this from 49ers Nation, the faithful.
No, you can't. We're all salivating. We're waiting. We're waiting for this news. But you're right. Sometimes I do notice like there's big stories that could have like been dropped on the week, or like sometimes I see these stories like on WebZone and nobody's talking about them, and then Monday, boom, it's like first thing, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, I heard about that on Saturday or Friday, but they don't like the big media markets don't even leak it till Monday. So it could be that we might see some small little report hidden in the trenches and then Monday. So I don't know. I just hope that we get good news tomorrow and go into the weekend with our heads held up. Because next week's free agency, I don't want to start free agency with a sour taste in my mouth. That's it. No, we'll see. I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
A little worried. Yeah. Prayers up to Brock, man. Anything else? You got any other things you want to go over, talk about? I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I don't really like, I'm still, looking through draft picks right now. So
yeah.
I guess I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get that Jake Moody. I don't think we're gonna spend an earlier draft pick on him because I don't know. Yeah, well, he's like the best one in the draft, right?
We got 30. We got 3 third round picks. Line him up. I'd take him with the third round pick. He's amazing.
You take him with the 3rd round pick?
I'd take him with the 3rd round pick. I would. They got 3 of them. You can use
Kyle.
You can take a right tackle, an edge, and your kicker.
I'm going to speak to Kyle on this. Kyle, if you're thinking about taking a damn running back, just take the kicker. Just take the kicker. We'll appreciate it a lot more.
Exactly. I'll take a kicker over a 3rd round running back. 100%. 100 days out of the week. 365 days out of the week.
Jake Moody is worth the 3rd round pick if you're going to go ahead and waste it on a running back when we could get more talented people undrafted.
Exactly. I get it because the 49ers are so good at undrafted running back. If they take a 3rd round running back again, I'm going to pull out my hair. I'm going to go crazy, man. So I'm very, very going to be upset because Kyle just doesn't have a good track record with these 3rd round running backs, man.
No, he doesn't. And it's like, why keep investing in that situation? It's also like, I don't like drafting interior defensive linemen in the 1st round.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think I always think you got a value guy somewhere later that's won't end up costing as much, this and that. If you really need a wrecker, then you can go out and get one. But what I've normally seen is any interior defensive tackle, for the most part, 99 out of 100, it takes them 2 years to get up to the level because they don't have their NFL body yet. They're rec people in college, but college is just high school on steroids, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to the NFL, they're over there trying to be grown man records, but these guys that they're playing against are grown man records already, and they got to put in their time and lift their weights until they can start tossing people around. So that's why it's like you go for the first round guys. It's better to just draft. They're gonna have to sit for a while anyways and get stronger, so might as well just draft them later. Use the first round draft picks on people who should be playing now, or like a quarterback that you can sit and this and that. I don't like first round is for edge rushers, quarterbacks, cornerbacks, and tackles.
Yeah, I agree. First round is
wide
for
receiver.
quality like players that can be an immediate impact, like impact players. That's a good way to say. Yeah, wide receiver, you can get an impact wide receiver, an impact lineman that could be on your team for a decade, a quality edge rusher, Nick Bosa, a franchise quarterback. I'm not taking a interior defensive lineman. They're good, but you can get them later in the draft and develop and this and that. I'm not taking a center. I'm just, unless they're like the greatest, they could be the greatest of all time at any position. Maybe
the center has to start day one.
Yeah,
he has to start day one.
Yeah,
he's got and be able to throw people around and do all that, and call out all. He's got to be smooth the brain. So it takes a special person for that.
Exactly.
Not many of them.
Yeah, and like you said, cornerbacks. That's a position that's hard to get good corners in the league. If you can get a premium cornerback, I mean, look at freaking Sauce Gardner, man, top 10 pick. That guy, whew, I mean, he's a game changer. You get a guy like that, whew, man, he shut down some of these receivers. Like he shuts down some of the best receivers out there. So for every good receiver, you need to have a great corner to shut them down. So I wouldn't waste my time picking interior D lineman. And the 49ers have done it twice with John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, Solomon Thomas, and Javon Kinlaw. Look at what they've done.
You know why Edge can perform so quickly out of college?
What's that?
Because it's technique and speed. So an edges are almost plug and play because it's just speed and technique. They don't have to get that grown man NFL body just yet. You know what I mean? Like later on, they'll get that, but they don't necessarily need that. Yeah, they don't need it to be effective.
Once they kind of add that to their, once they train, they get their muscle up and their strength, they'll be better and better. But initially, they can get like 5 sacks in their rookie season. They can get a few pressures in their rookie season, so they're effective. They're making an impact. But over the course of their career, their impact will grow and grow and grow. So you're 100% right. Like Drake Jackson, he's great. He was good. Could be great if he bulks up and adds the technique, like we said. But he was good. It wasn't like, oh my God, but he was good. He had a couple sacks, he had some pressure, some batted ball. So he showed some potential. Now he strengthens up, learns the technique. He could be great. So I don't know. It's interesting, man. I'm a little nervous for tomorrow, but I hope Purdy gets through the surgery. Maybe I want to see him post a picture on his Instagram story, thumbs up, something like that. He's good. I gotta see it, man. I just need to make sure he's good. That's it. That's what I want to see tomorrow.
I have a feeling one way or another he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
It's whether us as fans will. I'm planning not necessarily for the worst, but I don't think he's going to start the season anytime soon. So
no.
You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be fine. Like everybody out there, like tamper your expectations now. If I'm wrong, you can always say I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
If I was right, you were good for tampering your expectations, and you didn't get let down too much.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna expect maybe not. I wouldn't say worst case scenario, but I'm gonna expect probably not as good as we initially thought. Like I don't know if he's good. I definitely don't think he started at the beginning. He's not coming back at the beginning of the season, but I'm hoping for like he could be ready by October kind of deal. He should be ready by October. But at the same token, which we've talked about multiple times, if Trey Lance is doing great and he doesn't need to have Brock rushed, then that's a win-win. You have Trey looking good. He's doing well. He's exceeding expectations. Brock's healthy. And if we need him to come in when chips are down, we got Brock. So we shall see. Last thing I want to leave you with, I was looking at quarterback rumors and this and that. And, 49ers keep saying that they're going to get a veteran quarterback. We know this. We know they're going to get a veteran quarterback. There's one name nobody's thrown out, and somebody was like talking to me, and it made sense. and I hope they don't do it. Nick Mullins. But what if they go and get Nick Mullins to be their
Get
emergency
the fuck
quarterback?
Bye.
It's a reality. Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, holy shit, that actually makes. They might go and get Nick Mullins.
No. The ship sailed when he first left. He got worse since then. Like, it's been proven. No. I think there's more chance that Josh Johnson would be back. You know what I mean? I no. Nate Sudfeld, like Nate Sudfeld over anybody as far as
I
that.
think he's
Like,
coming back in training camp. Yeah. Oh my God. Would 49ers Twitter absolutely riot if Nick Mullins was the guy they signed? Like, if we see a breaking news headline and you get the post, the 49ers have signed Nick Mullins to a 2-year whatever, y'all would go crazy. When if Nick Mullins is the guy, I think 49ers Twitter would lose their mind. It deactivate. Oh man. That would be funny.
Wait, what if the 49ers splash play is like Jacoby Brissett?
I mean, it could very well be. It could very well be, my man. I mean, I don't know. It could be. Again, what you said earlier is very true, that it really depends on their salary cap. It's going to dictate what they can spend, you know? And if they don't have a lot of money, don't expect a big name. So, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm all the emotions. We'll see.
Stay locked in. Stay locked in for more.
Stay locked in. Don't move it. Don't after Friday. Once you wake up on Monday, don't leave your phone. It's going to be a busy day. Don't leave your phone. It's going to be a crazy day. That's all I know. All I know. But I don't know, man. I'm excited to see what happens. But yeah, man. Appreciate you for hopping on. Should tell the Niner fans where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Check me out at No Border Sports here on YouTube. Got a lot of videos out there. Also, you'll see me around on Aaron 49er First Takes channel. We do a show called NWO, Niner World Order. I'll also be on Bashar 49er Minded, but Bashar. I got a show with Mariah 49er Faithful Lee. I got a show with Platform 246. And I do a call-in show on Friday nights. So if I know you, you know what I mean, and you want to come and talk, come hit me up.
Let's do it. I probably won't be able to do it this weekend because I'm driving out of town, but I will still be on my phone posting updates.
I was telling everybody.
Yeah. Let me know.
Everybody in the chat.
Everybody in the chat.
Yeah,
if y'all
well, Fridays at 7:00.
That's it. Fridays at 7:00. Go check them out. No Border Sports. Appreciate you for hopping in. That's it for tonight. We're about to get some news, I feel, in the next couple of days. Stay close to your phone, ladies and gentlemen. We love y'all. Have a good night. Make sure you hit that like button.
And the notification bell.
That's it.